Hello, friends. Welcome to Bible Words. I am Pastor Dave, your host. Thanks for tuning in as we answer a very thoughtful question about our transition after death. I believe that only God's Bible words provide the real answers for how to live life fully lives with peace over our past, confidence for today, and hope for all of our tomorrows. And speaking about our tomorrows, our future hope, let's answer this question this week. The question is, do we instantly go to heaven when we die? Wow. This is a great question that I think every genuine Christ follower has asked at some point in their Christian journey. And, of course, only a genuine Christ follower should make this assumption about their entrance into heaven, about their eternal destiny, that indeed they will go to heaven. But I believe the focus of our question here is not on the where, but on the when. Is our transition from earth to God's presence in the third heaven instantaneously? And actually, in discovering, what we discover in answering this question is that Bible words ties these two aspects of where and when together. You see, in the Old Testament times, when people died, they were said to go to Sheol. That's the Hebrew word which refers to the place of the dead. Sheol, the place of the dead, is where the souls of every dead person went prior to Jesus' resurrection. So no one went directly to heaven into God's presence. It was Jesus who later told a story about two men dying that expands our understanding of Sheol. It's found in Luke chapter 16. It says, "Now Lazarus died and was carried away by the angels to Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died and was buried. In Hades he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and saw Abraham far away and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried out and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger into water and cool off my tongue, for I am in agony in this flame. But Abraham said, Between us and you there is a great chasm fixed, so that those who wish to come over from here to you will not be able, and none may cross over from there to us." So what do we learn from Jesus' story? Well, before Jesus' death and resurrection, all people, both righteous and wicked, went to Sheol, a holding place for souls that was divided into two polar opposite areas. On the one side, you have Abraham's bosom, a place of comfort for the righteous. On the other, Hades, a place of judgment for the wicked, all a part of Sheol. God has fixed a gulf between that neither side can cross over, and by the way, it doesn't sound in the story that it took much time for either one of them to arrive. So, later, dying on the cross, Jesus gives us a second name for Abraham's bosom in his promise to the repentant criminal who was hanging on the cross next to him. This person was saying, Jesus, remember me when you come in your kingdom. And Jesus said to him, Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. It's found in Luke 23. So what did Jesus do then while his body lay dead in the tomb and his spirit was self-consciously alive in the paradise side of Sheol? Well, Peter tells us in 1 Peter 3, it says, For Christ also died for sins once for all, the just for the unjust, so that he might bring us to God, having been put to death in the flesh, but made alive in the spirit, in which he also went and made proclamation to the spirits now in prison. Can you picture Jesus standing at the edge of that great gulf in Sheol, proclaiming victory to the other side over sin, to the God rejectors in Hades? I mean, what Satan meant for evil, crucifying Jesus, God planned for his glory and our good. Well, after his resurrection, after that divine affirmation that his sacrifice was accepted by God as payment for sin, the saints of the ages could now qualify to be in God's manifested presence. So after his resurrection, Jesus returned to heaven, taking all the saints in paradise with him to heaven. And Paul touches on that in Ephesians 4 when he said, When he ascended on high, he led captives a host of captives. Now this expression, he ascended, what does it mean except that he who descended is himself also who ascended far above all the heavens so that he might fill all good things. Friends, Jesus is currently filling heaven with redeemed saints. What does this mean for us? Well, it means when we die, God's holy angels, much like he did for Lazarus, escort our spirit, our soul, our eternal personhood through Satan's kingdom of darkness with all his fallen angels immediately into God's presence and in his kingdom of life. And so Paul says in conclusion, For we walk by faith, not by sight. We are of good courage, I say, and prefer rather to be absent from the body and to be at home with the Lord. And that is our destiny, to be at home with the Lord after we die. Folks, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share Bible Words with your friends, and send me your questions about life, and we'll see what God's Bible Words has to say about it. We'll see you next week.